Welcome back to Pastor Plek's podcast. I am so glad all of you are here as we talk faith, culture, and everything in between. And this is a special edition episode with none other than Leah Brown. Welcome back to the show.
I didn't know if I'd be invited back, but I'm happy to be here.
And also my sweet wife, Adrienne Plek. Adrienne, welcome back to the show. This is a really high honor moment for us.
High honor moment to be called sweet wife, too.
Can we do a little better than that?
Sweet wife?
Wonderful, adorable, highly competent.
Highly competent wife. My highly functional and competent wife is here on the show, and we're talking Barbie. Now, this is where it might get a little controversial because across mainstream media, or at least across conservative mainstream media, it's been bashed left and right. And so we're going to see what two ladies from the conservative persuasion might have to say about the Barbie movie. So I know you're sitting there waiting at home trying to figure out, should I go see this movie or is it a pass? So let's talk to two professional moviegoers, Leah and Adrienne, and tell us what your thoughts were on this movie. Is it a must-see?
Well, first we need to say that we're very highly qualified to rate and review this movie for you because when we went to see the movie, a 3-year-old stopped and asked if we were actual Barbie and wanted our picture. So
I'm not sure if I'm included in that.
Oh, no, you totally were.
I think so. Yeah, for
I'll
sure.
include myself.
Yeah, absolutely.
I had a pink dress.
It was both of us. It was. And so we're very qualified. We're very qualified to tell you what we thought about it.
Definitely had a lot of confidence going into this movie. And we also...
How many ladies went with you?
7.
You had 7 ladies go to a Barbie movie, and a child came up to you. How old was the child?
3.
Now, what time movie did you go to?
It was like a 7 o'clock movie.
It was Irresponsible Parents.
Oh.
No, apparently. That's beside.
It was like a 9
God.
o'clock showing.
Oh, it was kind of late.
Yeah.
So at a 9 o'clock showing, how old 3-year-old came up to you and goes, Barbie.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, you know.
We were all being in our like middle age, past our prime, as some would put it, for young women. We were all very flattered.
You should have been. All right, so talk to me about the experience. First off, did they cast well with Barbie?
No. Couldn't have been worse.
Why is that?
So there's a lot of women out there that would have worked. Because anybody can kind of act like Barbie. Barbie's acting character wasn't that hard.
Sure.
And she wasn't a real blonde. She really didn't look anything like Barbie. I think it was a huge mistake. That's my only negative, actually. I actually loved the rest of the movie. But Barbie, Leah and I had a fun time commenting on...
Were you guys like the annoying people in the movie that were talking the whole time?
Yeah, I think so.
We were on the far
But we
side.
weren't the people that fell trying to get back into their chairs. Those were our other friends, so we weren't that annoying.
Oh, okay.
Right?
So tell me about give me plot line and where you thought, man, they nailed it, and where they missed it.
Well, I walked into the movie expecting to hate it just because, I take reviews of movies with a grain of salt for sure, but every commentator that I listened to was dissing the movie. So I was like, okay, it's probably some kind of thing that's going to be super not up my alley, but I'm going to go see it anyway because it's an iconic cultural moment and I really want to. And clearly they marketed and catered the movie to our generation, like the actor and actresses, like the guy who played Ken. He's a little old to be Ken, but he's like the stallion of our day, right? Like Ryan Gosling, like the Notebook. Gosh, like
This Ryan Gosling.
Yes.
Yeah. They
couldn't have cast him more perfectly from a marketing perspective. So I expected to not like it a lot, but I laughed through the entire movie.
So was it like, 'cause what I've heard is it's a conservative bashing, like men are awful, like they stink. Is that true?
Oh, what did you think?
I disagree. I thought it was really funny. I thought it was clever humor. I thought that they took some huge liberties with the humor to poke fun at things. And they did a good job. The beginning, the Barbie world beginning, is where men were made to look like very pathetic, but it was funny. It was not realistic. It wasn't. Right. Nobody was suggesting that this was an ideal world, and it was comical. And watching men be that feminized and that lack of drive, lack of purpose, and kind of into themselves physically. Like, it was comical, it was funny, it was ridiculous. It showed how ridiculous it would be if men as a whole kind of took that angle, and that's not the angle that men are at. Even as a society, that's not where we're at. And it was kind of this idea that if we took this feminization of men and like really pushed it to the end, this is what we'd have.
Yeah.
And it was awful, and it was clearly awful and clearly pathetic. And I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that they had no problem showing just how ridiculous and pitiful a world would be with men as feminized as they were in Barbie world.
Okay.
Right. It's not like Barbie Land was supposed to be ideal. Barbie Land was a joke. They were making fun of the idea. And then you go, Barbie travels to the real world, and in the first 5 minutes, she experiences the patriarchy, and then Ken also travels with Barbie.
Yes.
Spoiler alert.
Which was the best. By far the best.
Why is that? Why was that the best?
Ken experiencing real world and recognizing the opportunity that he had as a man was the best part of the whole movie.
Right, and he immediately goes into this library and finds all these books labeled like patriarchy, like the origins of patriarchy. So they show the extreme of what it would look like for the patriarchy to reign supreme. Now, let's just say that this movie was also set in the 80s. They give you a hint at that based on who the president was at the time.
Oh, fun.
But so yeah, they show you the extreme of both sides, like women having all the power and men being feminized. And then in the real world, back in the time, these first 5 minutes, the patriarchy, the men having all the power, women really only playing like kind of a subliminal role. Really, it's like in Barbie Land, Ken is just an accessory for Barbie.
Right.
And then in the real world, they make it out to be like women are just an accessory for men, but they're clearly trying to show you that neither one of these is the ideal. Both end in catastrophe. And so kind of at the end, you have Barbie and Ken coming together like in Barbie Land, discussing, with a few helpers, like what a good balance would look like. And they make it pretty clear that balance is the solution, not extreme on either side.
Okay.
And the whole movie's a satire. I mean,
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, so people being offended by it, what would you say to them? Get over yourself, or where do you go with that?
I mean, here's the thing. I think that, like, could you pick a few points out where maybe they were trying to, where their intention was to go further with this analogy? Sure, but they did such an effective job making it look ridiculous and making both extremes look ridiculous that I didn't feel a huge pushing.
So you don't feel like you need to take over the church or anything and start leading?
Well, if anything,
Leading.
if anything, it made it look like women being in charge was like the dumbest idea. Like, it really does.
That's accurate, yeah.
It was stupid. Like, the houses are pink, the men are in Hawaiian shirts, and they like lay out. I mean, it was dumb. It was like women being in charge was not the win, but women having authority and having positions of power, that was a good thing. And I don't really think I have a problem with women having positions of power, but for a woman to be kind of overarching and the authority, that was not conveyed as a positive. And I didn't feel like that was conveyed as the goal. And in fact, one of my favorite parts of the movie, and I think this is a lot where some women, not like us, would have gotten emotional.
Really?
Was
real emotional?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
angry or
There
like
were
sad?
like 3 points where people typically
People
like
cried.
cry in
There were
this
people
movie.
crying.
Yeah.
There are some tearjerkers, yes.
Oh, what happened?
So there's
wait.
this one
Yeah.
speech so there's this mom in the real life, right, that Barbie connects with in real life. And she and her daughter is like middle school, high school age, teenage daughter.
She's a tween.
Yeah. And they don't have a great relationship. It was a pretty typical mom-daughter relationship. There was a lot of friction, a lot of tension, a lot of misunderstanding. And at the end of the movie, the mom has to kind of get over herself and motivate the Barbies. Was she motivating Barbies?
Yeah. She was trying to get Barbie off the ground.
Yes.
She was so
she ends up
disappointed.
back in Barbie world. It's kind of a little complicated. But anyway, she's motivating the Barbies. And she's kind of, in her speech, she speaks to the tension of women in general. And I loved it. Like, I felt pretty validated at the speech. And I think probably most women did.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say it was a female empowerment
No.
speech. It was kind of more of a, like, I think it's genuinely true that women are pulled in every direction. Like, we're the default at home, we're the default with the kids, but then there's pressure still in the career.
Yeah.
And if anything goes wrong in any of the areas, people are looking to the female to solve the problem, and the pressure that creates, and even with your own children, and just, it was like a pretty accurate, like as soon as she finished the speech, I was like, man, I don't disagree with any of that. And it wasn't that I think women are like so ostracized or so victimized.
Right.
It was kind of just like, this is kind of the reality of women. And you could argue that, yep, that's the life that we are kind of in because of the fall. This is where we're at as women. And I don't think I don't think it's a simple place to be, but it's a reality. And I was like, yep, this is pretty good. I liked it. I felt validated by it, and I thought it was full of truth, and I thought they did a good job not taking it too far to kind of create a female empowerment. They had an opportunity to go real feminized on it, and they didn't.
Leah, did you see Ben Shapiro's review of this? I mean, he was not thrilled.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, you know, sometimes I love Ben Shapiro, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do for the clicks. And like I said, marketing phenomenon for our generation. Yeah. So, you know, he had to do what he had to do, and that's okay. I don't care what he says.
Okay.
I mean, I do. I love him, but in case you're watching this, Ben.
Yeah.
No, but everything Adrienne said is true, and it's good. It's like she just kind of like laid out this double standard of, oh, you have to be everything at home and always be there for your kids, but you also have to be a career woman who's doing everything perfectly and killing it, crushing it at your job. You have to be thin, but not too thin that people look at you. Like, she did a really good job of kind of expounding on like the struggle, and I know it was really relatable for a lot of people. It wasn't really pushing an agenda.
Right.
It was just
here's the reality,
relating.
and it stinks.
Yeah.
And now it's over. Was it an overcome speech, or was it like?
It was. Yeah.
It was a bit of overcome, but it was also kind of like, this is it. So like,
get up and
Buttercup.
just deal with it. Like, what are you going to do about it? Right.
Okay.
And even the physical part was I appreciated the physical part.
What do you mean?
Because she did talk about like, you're supposed to, like, all the things you're supposed to be physically, but like not too much, but then be this. And what she's describing is kind of this impossible measurable. And I think that when she went off on that, I was like, okay, this sort of supports the decision for Margot Robbie to be the Barbie character.
Which, this is really the ultimate scandal right here. They cast Margot Robbie.
Did they make fun of that they cast her?
No, that was our favorite part. They basically just made fun of the fact that like she's really not the perfect stereotypical Barbie to cast for the job, because she's not a stereotypical Barbie.
But she, in the movie, the whole time, she refers to herself as stereotypical Barbie. She goes, I'm stereotypical Barbie. Because, you know, you have all the different types of Barbies.
The original Barbie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Blonde hair, blue eyes.
And then
tall,
at the end, there's
thin.
this, like, deep voice that, like, voice overs the whole movie that's like, well, that was a mistake to have casted Margot Robbie for. And it was kind of like, I looked at Leah and I was like, was that for real? Like, we couldn't even believe it was in the movie. Like, it was like, you have to be kidding me. I just feel like Victoria's Secret, I mean, not now, but like a few minutes ago, they had a lineup of like a few hundred women that could have worked for I just am like, it's not that hard to find a woman with a boob job and like who's malnourished and has blonde hair. Like, it's just not that hard. I don't understand why didn't we do that? Like, I think in a way it would have been more effective at conveying the ridiculousness of all of it had we nailed it on the because Barbie is a physical vanity character.
Right. Like, my parents didn't let us play with Barbie when I was young.
Me neither.
Because they didn't want you to think this is like the idealized body of a grown woman. So they just didn't let us play with her. And the movie recognizes that. They talk about it at like 3 different points. They say, like, Barbie has given women an unrealistic view of what bodies should look like. But then they had to call it out at the end that, like, oops, the person we actually cast in this role of Barbie is not really that unrealistic. She doesn't really have the boob job. She doesn't really have any muscle on her body.
Attainable. It was just an interesting, and I thought that was frustrating to me because I think that it would have made the point all the more effective to have Barbie.
So are you body shaming Margot Robbie right now?
A lot of people have been doing that, calling her a mid. We're not doing that. But she's not a real blonde, so we do need to go on the record. Yeah. A lot of men were really upset that they cast a fake blonde for Barbie, but I'm here to tell you that most blondes are not real.
Yeah, but I mean, you can find one that is, and I do think that when Barbie is your object, like this is the entire movie is created for this one character. Like, people go to anime. Like, you can go to an anime conference and people are using some of their natural coloring and their natural, like, physical characteristics to pick their anime character. Like, can we not do that in Hollywood with Barbie? I just don't understand. Like, that's the one thing that I'm like, come on, like, what was happening? And I guess part of me is like, if the role, like, Ken's role was tricky, like, acting and being Ken, I think would have been a really hard acting position.
And he did a phenomenal job. It
job.
was hilarious.
But Barbie's role was not hard. You just had to kind of be this ditzy, squeaky,
clueless person who all of a sudden is like, oh wait, maybe there's more to life.
Right. Not hard. Like even the other Barbies, harder to act in their roles. But stereotypical Barbie was probably the easiest acting job in my opinion of the whole movie. So why not cast that one?
Well, there's you can actually look that up and learn about why they had to cast her at the end of the day. They wanted to cast Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman, because she has the personality of Barbie, which she really does. But I don't know. I think she turned it down or something, but.
So like they got their third or fourth choice, probably.
Well, I think Margot Robbie was actually working on the film in another department. Oh. Yeah. But then she ended up stepping in to play the role. So, whatever.
Wow.
You know.
All right. Well, man. So overall, out of 5 stars, what do you give it, Adrienne?
Man, I give it 5 out of 5.
Wow.
Yeah, I do too, and that's because when you walk in, you have to be an idiot not to realize this is a satire.
Yeah.
Like, this whole movie is a joke, and it's a good one. Like, it's clever, it's witty, the writing is very intentional. You have to look at what's not there. There was no cursing in the movie. There was no nudity in the movie. Like, it was actually a really well done movie. There was some kind of casting thing going on that I'm not going to talk about, but you wouldn't really notice it if you weren't really looking for it. But anyway, look at what's not there. It was a really funny movie. It was really good. It was not pushing an agenda the way a lot of people have made it out to be pushing an agenda. Primarily men, by the way, who have been reviewing it negatively, thinking it's so anti-men, which I didn't think it was anti-men at all. I think it was like, hey, we need to strike a balance here. We need to give people positions of authority and influence based on their merit, not based on their gender. Like, let's do away with that. So I'm down. I like it. I'll give it a 4.5 out of 5.
Okay. All right. Yeah. All right. Leah has a little critical spirit.
I guess
there.
maybe if we
Just
factor in the casting, we could go to a 4.5.
Yeah, we're going full on. So 4.5.
Yeah, I would say.
You guys don't have to like. This is groupthink when you guys say the same thing. So
or
come
maybe
on.
we say, Mark, listen.
You don't have
It
to
was
think
also
about it
too long. I will say this. It was too long.
Oh,
It
I
went
don't
on.
think so.
That's
I think
Adrienne
it
thinks
went
that
on
of every
extra.
movie, though.
No, I don't.
All
but
right,
this
well,
was too long.
Okay, so hey, thanks for watching. We're looking
4
for
out of 5.
future movie reviews from Adrienne and Leah. You'll see it here at Pastor Plek's podcast or at a podcast near you soon. We're really excited about it. Hey, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, text us in at 737-231-0605 or go to pastorplek.com. From our house to yours, have an awesome